Hi there, it's Marzena. Today's video was supposed to be a Halloween special. But it's not like it's 1 month late to the party. It was supposed to be released for last year Halloween. So this doll has waited a lot. But better late than never, and her time has finally come. Let's make a classic, cute Halloween witch. For my mom. Let's dive in. For my main victim, I chose Claudia Wolf. She is the only Monster High doll with a wide smile, and I wanted that feature on my little witch. But she was supposed to be quite delicate in posture, so I switched the big sister's body of Claudia for Claudine's regular teenage body. Her legs were all over the place, naughty girl, but it didn't matter, cause everything will be glued in place anyway. I started by cutting the hair as short as possible. Then I decapitated my dolls after heating them up for about 1 minute in a freshly boiled water. And yes, the tabletop that you see here is my old working table, cause I recorded this footage at the beginning of October 2022. After the decapitation, I removed all the glue and the remaining hair plugs from the heads, and with 100% acetone I removed Claudia's factory face. Time for the head shrinking. I used 9:1 acetone to water solution for my favorite slow shrinking method. 2 days of soaking, 2 days of drying, and repeat. And I left this project to be forgotten. At least until 2 months ago. We are back to 2023 and it's time to finally give this girl her second life. First things first, I needed to get rid of her wolf ears. Okay, so she didn't have human ears, but the hair would probably cover them anyway, so no one would know? Crap, I would know. So I decided to use this spare Frankie's head from my broken dolls box as an ear donor. I made sure that they fit the curvature of the head and I glued them in place with super glue. After the glue dried, I took care of the transitions. Okay. A lot of work for something that won't be visible, but hey, it's me. I could finally attach the head to Claudine's body. So I widened the neck hole, trimmed down the neck peg, slimmed down the neck, and heat the head up a bit before popping it back on the body. To the face up then. I turned my girl into a cozy burrito. Then with brown acrylics I painted the ears so they will match the rest of the face. They turned out a little bit too dark, so not perfect, but I will color match it later with soft pastels. To be able to do that, I sprayed the head with 3 layers of Mr. Super Clear UV Cut Flat Varnish, and I shouldn't have done that cause I remembered that her long fangs were not exactly what I wanted on this particular project. So I had to get rid of them. After that, I removed all the varnish with help of acetone to avoid uneven layers. This caused some weird bleachings on the vinyl that I tried to fix with water, soapy water, alcohol, you name it. It only made it worse. I decided to try to spray it again with MSC varnish, and that worked perfectly. So if you will ever stumble upon such problem, no worries. The varnish is all you need here. You can't really see it on the video, but in real life and natural light, Claudia as a base doll is very dark. This is why she and Cathy Noir, that is completely black, are one of my least favorites when it comes to face up. But before you will think that I am a very nasty person for saying this, let me explain. Is it because those dolls are the darkest in the Monster High line? Yes. Is it because of their skin color? No. I very much enjoy darker or even totally black complexions on dolls. The problem is the color of the vinyl itself. See, the darker the base, the harder it is to make blushing and shading visible. That's just the way soft pastels work. Or in this case, don't work. You can build up some highlights and blushings, but after a layer of varnish, poof, gone. And no human complexion, neither the lightest nor the darkest, is just the one plain color. This is why some customizers, me included, love to blush their dolls with pastels, to bring those gentle or sometimes more vivid color variations, to make the skin more lifelike. With black vinyl it's almost impossible, with dark brown like here, very hard. I had to make many layers of pastels and varnish before I could start sketching the eyes and the rest of the features. This face-up in general gave me some hard times at the beginning, especially the eyes. With a wide smile like this, it's easy to make the face look crazy. And that wasn't my goal. I tested a lot of irises placements and somehow couldn't find myself happy with them. It's been a long time since I struggled with the face-up like this. I also wasn't quite sure what to do with the lips, but at least this problem didn't take me long to figure out. But those eyes, ugh. I definitely stumbled on some bigger issue here. I just didn't like them, no matter how long I was rendering them. I tried to focus on other elements of the face, but the eyes were just following me. Because of those eyes, I really wanted to start over. But I've already put a lot of work in this face, so I made the hard decision and took a risk of removing only the eyes. With so much blushing and shading, this will always create nasty lines, so if you won't be able to cover them later, you're screwed. But I just had to try. I made the eyes a lot smaller this time, and it already looked way more like my style, and I was way happier. From then on, it finally went smooth. Sometimes we don't quite feel the project up to a certain point when we suddenly start to like it. So keeping on working should be the first thing we try. But we also need to know when to give up, stop working, take a step back, and start over. Because sometimes no matter how many details we add, we just won't be able to fix it if we don't like the direction that our project is going. Some of you might say that the first bigger eyes were better, but I really didn't like them, and I have zero regrets that I changed them. There's nothing worse than your own project that you don't quite like yourself. After adding the catch lights with acrylics, I also decided to mark more teeth in her smile, and this problematic face-up was done. I don't have any more Claudia dolls to compare, so here's a Claudine's head instead. As you can see, the head shrinking went quite well here, and I'm very happy that I managed to keep my girl's complexion a bit darker than it is on Claudine. Time for some body modifications. Not much to do here. I just cut out the middle part of the torso and straightened the neck a little bit. Then I sanded down all the rough edges, plastic panties, seams and factory numbers. With some super glue, hot glue and a piece of wire, I made her whole again and I gave her her permanent pose. Time for our personal favorite here, epoxy sculpt. I mixed 2 parts together and I started the sculpting phase. She will have a full outfit. Yeah, again. But first I wanted to cover all the gaps and create the overall body shape before I would jump into clothes. Oh, I miss sculpting naked dolls. I enjoy a challenge and learning how to sculpt clothes is quite important for me, but I really like the uninterrupted silhouettes of the female body. Here I didn't have to sculpt details like a belly button, cause I will be sculpting a corset there later on. When all the epoxy parts cured completely after like 12+ hours, I sanded down the transitions to make them as smooth as possible. After that I gave my girl a pretty decent butthole, cause we need to attach her to her broom later. A little bit painful vision, but oh well. I prepared a straight piece of wire with a little attachment thingy more or less in the middle. I made a strip of the Super Sculpey that I will be covering the wire with. I roughed the surface of the wire up with a low grit sanding sponge, and I smeared some bacon bond over the whole thing. Then I took my strip of clay and I started to sculpting the handle of the broom. I added some wood texture to it and it was ready for the first baking. The head of the broom I secured on 2 thin pieces of wire that I glued to the handle. I just didn't have high hopes that those 2 parts of the broom will stick to each other with the power of friendship alone. When I had the base of the head, I created a bunch of thin clay snakes and turned them one by one into the bristles. To finish the broom, I added 2 metal coils, one on the end of the handle and one holding the bristles. Of course, it didn't survive the second baking, but it was all an easy fix, so I didn't cry about it. Not a lot. The broom was ready, but it ended up placed kinda weirdly under our little witch, so I drilled a little bit more into the attachment butthole. Well, I drilled a lot, to be honest. Can you see the difference now? Before and after. Still not perfectly centered, but way better in my opinion. With the broom fully sculpted and its placement fixed, I fixed the hole in her butt and it was finally time for some cute outfit. I'm thinking frills, ruffles, puffy sleeves and a corset of course. My plan was to try something new and sculpt some outfit parts that I've never sculpted before. Which could be a lot of things, cause not counting some stuff from thermoplastic, I sculpted only 2 sets of outfit by now. I must admit, I was sure that I will be able to upload this video max 2 weeks after our Halloween circus collab. I even finished both face-ups simultaneously, so I thought that finishing this cute witch won't take me much time. And then I spent 2 or 3 weeks literally doing nothing. I wanted to work, but just couldn't find the energy to do so. I was lying on the couch or in my bed, angry at myself for being so lazy and being too lazy to do anything about it. I wasn't depressed, it definitely wasn't that serious. Don't worry. But I felt a little like lazy autumn melancholy. Maybe it was because my last doll was kinda meh for me. The project and the collab were really fun, but I wasn't totally satisfied with the end result. I think after that one I missed making naked dolls, and sculpting another outfit, just thinking about it, was burning me out. Yet I knew that if I won't finish this project now, I will never finish it. So I didn't want to start another project, and I procrastinated instead. I am very happy though that I finally forced myself to get back to it. Cause even though the ruffles on the blouse gave me hard time, believe you me, I am really happy with how this outfit turned out. And a simple pose on this girl really works this time too. Sometimes we need a break, and it's completely understandable, but the longer we procrastinate, the harder it is to get back to work, even when we love what we are doing. So we all need to learn how to balance it. At least I know I do. For the bottom part of the outfit, I decided to give her a very high socks. It's an autumn doll after all. And some witchy half boots with pointy toe caps. I wasn't totally sure, but I assumed that this combination would look cute. I think I wasn't wrong. To cover her butt, I was planning to give her a skirt, but decided that short shorts and the long back of the blouse coming from under the corset will be a better option. Of course, there's no proud witch without her pointy hat. I made the base from Warbler and I gave it a proper shape with the help of my beloved epoxy. It looked decent enough. I also sculpted some tiny mushrooms for our autumn stand, and all the sculpted parts were finished. Looking good so far. Time for some paint job. I sprayed my girl and the mushrooms with white primer, and the broom and the hat with black, except for the bottom side of the hat, which was also white. I started with the skin. It took me a good amount of layers of pastels and sealant to achieve an even color, but it worked eventually. Oh, by the way, some of you believe that I use makeup products for my repaints. I do not. Those round thingies are pan pastels. They may look like eyeshadows or blushes, but those are art supplies, definitely not meant to be used on your face. Well, I do have some cosmetic mica powders that I sometimes use, and I do use a lot of makeup brushes. Those are great for dolls. To paint the outfit, I put one color at a time. First, the orange. Then the purple. This one had really poor coverage and required way more layers. And the last one, black. One layer was enough here. I sealed everything with MSC and put some shadows in the crevices of the material, using pan pastels, of course. Brown on the orange parts and black on the purple ones. I also used some white for some gentle highlights on the black elements. Sealed everything again, and while it was drying, I painted the hat, the mushrooms, and off camera, the broom. The bottom of the brim I painted purple, just like the inner side of the blouse. The rest of the hat stayed black. And the belt I painted orange with the purple stitches. Finished it with pastel shading. The shrooms I painted with acrylics and finished with some brown wash and gloss varnish. Finally, it was time to let our girl breathe a little. All I needed to do was to apply a little pastel treatment onto the neck and seal everything with MSC one last time. Let's give this poor girl some fluffy hairstyle. I prepared wefts from 100% acrylic yarn, and I curled as much of it as I thought I would need here. When there's no reroute involved, I prefer curling the wefts while they are still glued to my plastic roller, not straight on the doll's head. I glued my wefts piece by piece using a hot glue. I left the top of the head bald, cause it will be covered by the hat anyway. I cut the ugly ends and the hair part was done. To attach the hat, I had to drill a hole in the bald part of the head. Then I placed a piece of wire inside the hole. I filled the inside of the hat with hot glue, but not entirely, just a little bit, and I placed the hat on the head as I wanted. When the hot glue cured down, I took the hat off with the wire now anchored properly in it. To finish the outfit, I put a layer of gloss varnish on the black part of the hat, the corset, shorts, and the boots. And I also glossed her eyes and lips. I should have done it before the hair, but oh well. Okay, all the elements of our witch were done, so it was time to put everything together. I think that she looks lovely, but she still needs her stand. It will be a simple one. I took a wooden cylinder and I created the borders around it with duct tape. I took some clean kitty litter and mixed it well with some wood glue. Then I spread the mixture evenly on my future doll stand. I left it for more or less 2 hours, so it wouldn't be so sticky anymore, and started to poke it with my fingers. Repeated it every hour or so, and after a few more I could remove the tape and leave it to cure completely overnight. On the next day, I could drill the hole for the doll's attachment and paint the whole thing with brown acrylics. I sealed it with a layer of varnish. When it dried, I put a ton of hot glue into the hole and finally attached our girl to her stand. It still needed to be prettified, so I took a lot of different grass tufts and superglued them to the stand one by one. Didn't forget about those shrooms. And finally, after over a year of waiting, my cute Halloween witch was done. I am very happy with the end result. It was hard to force myself to work on another fully dressed doll, but I really like how she turned out. Her face looks lovely, even though it gave me a hard time at the beginning. The outfit, I wouldn't mind wearing myself. And the simple pose is not giving me the not enough or something's missing vibes. It suits her well. Shame that she will have to wait almost a year to be displayed for the next year Halloween, but I still hope that my mom will like her. And of course, I hope that you like her too. You can tell me what you think of this massively delayed project in the comment section. I highly appreciate your comments. Always read all of them. If you enjoyed the struggles that I showed you today, give this video a thumbs up to feed the algorithm gods. And remember to subscribe to my channel with the bell to be notified of my future shenanigans. You can also find me on Instagram and X if you're interested in more sneak peeks and updates. Thank you guys for watching and see you soon!
Kluska. To moja herbata. No to teraz już twoja.